The house was loud, messy, nothing like mine, and yet, for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel invisible. It all started with a school project called Walk a Mile in Their Shoes. I never thought my life could feel so empty. From the outside, everything looks perfect. I live in a mansion with marble floors, have a walk-in closet filled with designer clothes, and parents who make sure I attend the best schools. People think I'm lucky, but the truth is, being perfect is exhausting. I'm always trying to meet expectations. Good grades, perfect posture, clean speech, quiet emotions. So when Ms. Carter, our social studies teacher, announced a project called Walk a Mile in Their Shoes, something inside me lit up. She wanted each of us to swap lives with someone who had a completely different lifestyle. We'd spend a week in their shoes, learn from their world, and document the experience. I saw my chance. I chose Diana Carter, not because I felt sorry for her, but because I was curious. She had this big old backpack that looked like it weighed more than her. Her shoes were worn out. Her uniform didn't always fit right. But her smile never faded. I wanted to know her secret. How could someone with so little seem so full? When I asked her to swap lives for a week, she laughed. She thought I was joking, but I was serious. She said yes. I arrived at her house on a Friday evening. The moment I stepped inside, everything hit me at once. The house was small with peeling walls and mismatched furniture. It smelled like onions, baby powder, and something warm, like home. Kids ran everywhere, shouting and laughing. One of them hugged me before I even said a word. Her mom came home late, looking tired, her shirt stained with coffee. But when she saw me, pretending to be Diana, she smiled and pulled me into a hug. It was so natural, so full of love. At dinner, we sat around a small table, eating mac and cheese from a box. Everyone talked over each other. The toddler spilled water. The baby started crying. Someone laughed so hard they choked. It was loud, messy, beautiful. No one corrected my posture. No one asked about school rankings. They just cared. About each other. About me. That night, I shared a room with Diana's little sisters. One of them held my hand while falling asleep. I hadn't felt that warm in months. Meanwhile, Diana was at my house. She was sleeping in my bed, a bed that could fit 3 people. She had her own bathroom, unlimited hot water, and peace. But peace isn't always happiness. My parents are polite, cold but polite. They don't yell, they don't hug. At dinner, they asked her about her future goals like she was applying for a job. I know that feeling well. They ask me those questions every night, but she wasn't used to it. And honestly, I wasn't used to her world either. I started to get used to the noise. The early mornings, the chaos of 5 siblings arguing over cereal. I learned how to change a diaper, how to boil water when there's no gas, how to hold a baby and help with math homework at the same time. It was hard, so hard. But I laughed more than I had in months, and when Diana's mom hugged me goodnight and said, "Thank you for helping out today," I felt seen. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I mattered, without being perfect. Diana's mom still got sick, but instead of feeling helpless, I sprang into action. After days of watching Diana navigate chaos with grace, I had learned more than I realized. I boiled water for tea, sat with the younger kids, and did my best to keep everyone calm. When the toddler knocked over a cup, I just laughed and cleaned it up. No panic, just care. But the real turning point came that night. The electricity went out. The house plunged into darkness, and the little ones clung to me in fear. I had never been scared of the dark, not in my world of automatic generators and well-lit hallways. But here, without a backup, it felt real. Then Diana's brother pulled out a flashlight, flicking it on like it was no big deal. "We tell stories when the power goes out," he said, sitting cross-legged on the floor. Within minutes, everyone had gathered around. Diana's little sister leaned against my arm. Even their mom, tired and weak, smiled from her seat on the couch. Then they handed the flashlight to me. "Your turn?" Diana's youngest sibling said. I hesitated. Stories weren't my thing. I was used to essays, formal speeches, rehearsed conversations with adults who expected precision. But something inside me softened. I thought about the fairy tales I had once loved, back when I was small enough to be held, back when life was more than grades and posture. So I told one. It was messy. I stumbled over words. I made things up halfway through, but they laughed. They gasped at the twists. The toddler clapped like I had just performed magic. For the first time, I wasn't being watched for perfection. I was simply part of something. And when Diana's mom whispered, "That was beautiful," I realized something. I wasn't just learning how Diana lived, I was learning how to live. While Diana was navigating my silent mansion, something unexpected happened. Instead of just tolerating the quiet, she started to challenge it. She played soft music in the living room, humming under her breath as she explored the space. She struck up conversations with the housekeeper, learning about her life, asking questions no one had ever thought to ask. But the biggest moment came at dinner. My parents, predictable as ever, asked Diana about her plans for college, about her 5-year trajectory, about where she saw herself in the grand scheme of things. Diana listened. Then, instead of responding with the polished answers I'd spent my life perfecting, she laughed. Not in disrespect, but in genuine surprise. "You know," she said, placing her fork down, "you guys talk a lot about success, about making sure everything is planned out." My dad nodded, pleased. "Of course." "But I have a question," Diana continued. "When was the last time any of you did something just because it made you happy?" The silence was louder than any noise in her home. My parents exchanged glances. My mother shifted in her seat. The housekeeper paused in the doorway, listening. Diana smiled. Not smug, not rude, just patient. After a moment, she shrugged. "That's okay. It's hard to think about, but I just wonder, if being successful makes you lonely, is it really worth it?" The dinner table had never felt so alive. That night, instead of locking herself in my bedroom, she invited the housekeeper to sit with her in the kitchen. They talked about childhood memories, about hobbies, about things that had nothing to do with plans. And when my parents walked by, my mother lingered. She didn't say much. But for the first time, maybe ever, I think she was listening. Diana wasn't just visiting my world, she was changing it. We met at the park. No cameras, no pretending. I sat on the bench wearing a hoodie one of her brothers had lent me. She walked toward me, wearing my sunglasses. We were both tired, both changed. "You want to go back?" I asked. She nodded. "I miss my loud, loving mess." I laughed. "I miss your mess too." We switched back. I returned to my cold, quiet mansion. But something felt different now. That night, I hugged my mom. She looked surprised, but she hugged me back. I started talking to the housekeeper like a real person. And every week now, I visit Diana's house. Sometimes just to eat toast with too much butter and watch cartoons with her siblings. Sometimes to help with homework. Sometimes to just be around love. I used to think my life was the dream. Now I know every life comes with weight. Some lives are loud, some are quiet. Some look shiny on the outside but feel empty inside. What you're running from might be what someone else is running toward. And sometimes we don't need to trade lives to be happy. We just need to open our eyes and our hearts to the life we already have.